Here, students, the next topic in piping design is about the various piping supports and their classification. So, we will look at the various piping supports that are used in the process industry and we will classify them based on certain criteria. So, what are the piping supports? They will play a very crucial role in the proper functioning of the piping systems because the pipe support carries the pipe weight with all its contents. So, to maintain the integrity of the piping system, the pipe must be supported following a proper span. So the piping supports are very crucial because we look at the pipe weight with all its contents. So in a process plant, the pipe weight and its contents will be a very high value. So we have to support the piping systems appropriately in order to avoid any failure and accidents. So when the pipe is carrying a lot of material and if the pipe is failing at a crucial uh, time, then it may arise safety issues and certain concerns. So we have to support the pipelines with proper weight and with proper span. And when the piping supports are installed in a proper manner, it will be critical for the success of any project, as we have to select the piping support material very accurately, and it depends upon the uh, nature of the material and also the type of anchoring or the type of support that needs to be provided. So pipes as irregular space frames are not self-supporting. If you have long pipe runs, they are not self-supporting in nature. So we have to provide adequate support systems or arrangements to be installed in a proper fashion so that we avoid the failure of the pipeline. The piping loads will be transmitted from the pipe to the supporting structures with the help of the pipe supports. So we have to calculate the load of the pipe with its contents, and those piping loads needs to be transmitted to the supporting structures with the help of the pipe supports. So what is a pipe support? That is a piece of equipment which carries or supports the weight of the pipe and the fluid in the pipe over a certain length. So the function of this pipe support will be to guide, anchor, absorb shock or support a specified load in order to maintain the integrity of the pipe work. So to repeat, the definition of a pipe support is a piece of equipment which carries or supports the weight of the pipe and the fluid in the pipe over a certain length, and the purpose is to support, guide, uh, absorb shock or anchor in order to maintain the integrity. The types of pipe supports, we have two different types of pipe supports, which is directly attached to the pipeline, and second one is attached to a structure that will work to support the pipe. So primary supports are the ones which are directly attached to the pipeline, while the secondary pipe supports will attach to certain concrete structures that will work to support the pipe. The primary supports and secondary supports are then again classified as rigid supports, then adjustable pipe supports, and elastic supports. So the pipeline, it needs to be supported from a foundation or a structure. The piping loads will be acting on these foundations and structures, and these foundations and structures are built on a ground, so they will exert an equal and opposite reaction while supporting the pipe. The foundations and structures, the load calculations are done, and they will exert an equal and opposite reaction while supporting the pipe. In a pipe support, there are some parts of the support arrangement which will be directly attached to the pipeline, and some parts of the support arrangement will be directly attached to a concrete structure which will be provided or to support the weight of the pipeline, and there will be some parts which will be attached to a foundation or a structure which will be supporting the pipe. So based on that, the pipeline supports are classified as primary supports and secondary supports. So this picture shows the support classification based on the functions of the support. For example, if you look at the first picture, it is indicating a very loose support. So if you look at the orientation along the X, Y and Z direction, we can see that the pipeline is supported at 2 points, and it is a very loose support and it is not very rigid in nature. This support will prevent the movement along the Y direction, but it does not prevent the movement along the X direction and the Z direction. So the restraints are actually shown in the plus Y direction. We can see that the pipeline cannot move, but the pipeline may be flexible enough to move along the X direction, Z direction and the minus Y direction. The next is the longitudinal guide. So if you look at the longitudinal guide, the symbol or the basic construction is that it allows the movement in a particular direction only. So here we can see that as per the orientation of the picture, the pipe can move along the Z direction, that is on the positive Z and the negative Z, but it does not move on the Y or the X direction. So this longitudinal guide is placed in such a way that it allows the movement along one particular direction only. So in this case, the pipeline can move along the Z direction, but it fails to move along the X and the Y direction. The symbol provided is shown in the diagram. This longitudinal guides or the loose supports are shown by these two symbols that are indicated in the P&ID diagram. Next is a transverse guide. In the case of a transverse guide, it allows the movement along one particular direction and along a particular negative direction or a positive direction. So in this case, if you look at the transverse guide, we can see that the restraints are along the x-axis and the negative y-axis. So the positive y-axis. So the pipe can move along the z-axis and the minus y, that is the negative y direction it can move. That is, the pipe can move as per this orientation downwards, and it can also move the sideways along the x direction. So, then next is the fixed point, which is a non-welded type of the pipe joint. So in the case of a non-welded type of fixed joint, we can see that the pipe is restrained on all the three axes x, y and z. So this is a fixed joint which does not allow the movement of the pipeline in all the three directions. Next is the fixed point anchor type, which may be welded. So in the fixed point welded type, or when we are using an anchor support, we see that it restricts the movement along all the directions and all the rotations. So the pipeline cannot rotate, and also it restrains the movement in all the directions of x, y and z. Next is the limit stop. Limit stop is a special detail that I will discuss in the next slides. So here the limit stop is preventing the direction in preventing the movement of the pipeline along a particular direction. For example, we want to move the pipeline along Z, but only up to a certain distance. So after a certain distance, the pipeline should not move along the X or a particular direction. Here I consider as Z. So the limit stop will be provided to curtail the movement along a particular along the particular axis. So the pipeline will be able to travel a certain distance, and after the movement of the pipeline in a particular direction, the limit stop will prevent the further movement of the pipeline. So this is a special case, and the restraint can be provided in any particular direction as desired. So the limit stops will be a special kind of a support system where it will allow the movement up to a certain displacement, and it will curtail the movement after that displacement has taken place. Then special supports, they are not indicated by certain symbols. It will be actually shown as a legend in the pipeline and instrumentation diagram. So the special supports may be having the restraints in any particular direction as required by the support or the function. Next, these are the support classifications based on the functions. These are the loose supports, longitudinal guides, transverse guides, fixed point, which is non-welded and welded. Then we have the limit stop and special supports. Here we have shown the symbols and the basic construction along with the restraints in a particular direction. Next, we move on to the different types of pipe supports. There are more than 50 in number. So let me give the details of all these pictures of the various pipe supports. First is the adjustable steel clevis hanger of type 1. So this is a pipe attachment for suspension of horizontal stationary lines, and it provides a means for the vertical adjustment of the pipeline. So here we can see that there is a clamp and a screw arrangement. Uh, it can be rotated, and the vertical adjustments can be provided by this steel hanger, and the pipes can be suspended of in the horizontal direction. So this is a pipe attachment for suspension of horizontally stationary lines, and it is providing a means for the vertical adjustment. Then if you look at type 2, which is the yoke type pipe clamp, so it is a pipe attachment for suspension of horizontal stationary insulated lines. So this type of clamp is also made to accommodate a pipe of a non-standard size when it is designed with a filler plate. So filler plates normally are provided as a kind of insulation, and this yoke type pipe clamp, they are used for non-standard pipe sizes, and when the pipeline is insulated. Next is the carbon or alloy steel 3-bolt pipe clamp. This is an attachment for suspension of horizontal stationary lines. We have 3 bolts, two on one side, one on the another side, and this is the made of carbon or alloy steel material. The pipe attachment for suspension of horizontal lines will be given by this type 3. Next is the type 4 steel pipe clamp. So the pipe attachment for suspension of horizontal stationary insulated lines, the only difference between the type 3 and type 4 is that the number of bolts is 3 for type 3, and it is only 2 for the steel pipe clamp. Then type 5 is the J-type hanger. So J-type hanger is the suspension of horizontal stationary lines. It will be using a hanger rod or bolting to wall from the T-slot provided in the side of the strap. So this J-type hanger is a pipe suspension of horizontal lines. So it is going to provide a slot using a side of the strap, so the pipe can be suspended in the hanger type support. Next is the adjustable swivel pipe ring, split ring or a solid ring type support. So this type is also used for the suspension of the pipelines in the horizontal stationary line. So type 7 is again a adjustable steel band hanger. This is also providing a means for the vertical adjustment, and it restrains the movement in the horizontal direction. Then type 8 is the extension riser clamp. This attachment for the suspension of vertical stationary lines without the use of any other hanger rods. The transfer of the piping load is accomplished by resting the ears of the clamp on a bearing surface. So the extension pipe or a riser clamp will be used to support vertical stationary lines. Then type 9 is the adjustable band hanger. This is also used for the suspension of horizontal stationary lines. We have a band kind of an arrangement, and that band is adjusted to lift the pipeline and to support it in the case of horizontal stationary lines. Then type 10 is the adjustable swivel ring band hanger. So adjustable swivel ring band hanger is a type of a hanger which is providing a means for vertical adjustment and the suspension of horizontal stationary line. Then type 11 is a split pipe ring with or without a turnbuckle arrangement. So this is for the suspension of horizontal pipelines, permitting the installation before or after the pipe is in place. So the turnbuckle adjustment can provide that even before installing the pipeline, you may install the support. Then we can we can install this turnbuckle adjustment after or even before the pipe is properly placed. So there can be adjustments so that the pipe can be oriented properly, and the stress accumulated can be mitigated. Then type 12 is the extension split pipe clamp hinged or 2-bolt hanger. This is a pipe attachment for the horizontal stationary line, and it is used in conjunction with a pipe nipple. So nipple is a kind of threaded arrangement, and this extension split pipe clamp will be used in conjunction with the pipe nipple. Then moving on to the next type, which is the steel turnbuckle. Steel turnbuckle is the type 13. So it is a device with one left hand internal threaded end and one right hand internal threaded end. So these are used to join two threaded rods and provide for a vertical adjustment. Next, type 14 is a forged steel clevis. The forged steel clevis is providing an attachment of a threaded rod to a bolted or a pinned connection. So the steel clevis is used for threaded rods, and the steel turnbuckles is also used for one left hand internal threaded and one right hand internal threaded end. So the threads can be in the direction in the right hand, or also the thread can be the direction of the left hand threading. So the steel turnbuckles will be providing the adjustment for this kind of systems. Then type 15 is a swivel turnbuckle. So this is providing flexibility at the pipe connection by means of a vertical adjustment. Then type 16 is a malleable iron socket. So malleability is the ability to drawn into sheets. So the malleable iron socket is a device for attaching threaded rods of various types of building attachments. So this is an iron socket which is providing the various threaded rods attachment in the case of attaching the pipeline to building structures. Then type 7 is a steel weldless 17 is a steel weldless eye nut. So it is a forged steel device which provides for the attachment of a threaded rod to a bolt or pin connection. So this is one of the eye nuts type 17. So here it will provide for the attachment of a threaded rod. Then type 18 is a steel or malleable concrete insert type support. So this is a rod attachment which is capable of any nominal lateral adjustment. This type of support is inserted in a concrete structure and over and above which we support the pipeline. So this is cast in place device. So that is it will provide for a rod attachment that is capable of nominal lateral adjustments. Next we have the Uh, type 19. Type 19 is the top beam C-clamp structure. It is a device that will require no welding which attaches to the top of a flange of a structural shape where the vertical rod is required to be offset from the edge of the flange. So the type 19 is a type of a clamp which is not requiring any kind of welding arrangement. When we have a vertical rod that needs to be slightly away from the edge of the flange, then to keep that structure in place we use a top beam C clamp. Type 20 is a side beam or channel clamp. Type 20 is a device which also requires no welding, but it will attach to the bottom flange of a structural shape where the vertical rod is required to be at the edge of the flange. So type 19 is attaching to the top flange and type 20 is attaching to the bottom flange. Then type 21 is a center beam clamp. Center beam clamp is a device which attaches to the bottom flange of a structural shape where the vertical rod is required to be centered on a structural shape. And this center beam clamp also does not require any kind of welding. And moving on to type 22. Type 22 is a welded beam attachment with or without a bolt type. The welded beam attachment as shown here as an inverted bolt structure is a structural attachment welded to the bottom of the steel beams, and it is used as a means for connecting hanger rods to the beams. Then type 23 C clamp is a modification of the top beam C clamp. So it is a device which attaches to the flange of a structural shape and it provides attaching a threaded rod. Then type 24 is the U-bolt. So this is commonly used in all the pipeline supports in households also, which can support very less diameter pipelines. This U-bolt shaped rod with threaded ends, it can be used as a support or also as a guide. So if you have a U-bolt, we can allow the movement of the pipeline in a particular direction. So this U-bolt type of supports is normally used in the case of very less diameter pipelines. It cannot withstand heavy loads, so we normally use this U-bolt as a guide rather than a support. The next we move on to type 25. Type 25 is the top beam clamp. So it is a device which will require no welding and it will attach to the top flange of a structural shape where the vertical rod is required to be at the edge of the flange. So this top beam clamp, as you can see, the vertical rod is required to be at the edge of the flange, and this type of support will not require any welding and it attaches to the top flange. Then type 26 is a pipe clip arrangement. The pipe clip is for the suspension of horizontal lines by bolting the clip directly to the structure. So it is also referred as a pipe strap or just a strap. Then type 27 is a side beam clamp. A side beam clamp is attaching to the bottom flange of a structural shape where the vertical rod is required to be slightly away from the center of the shape. So the side beam clamp is also requiring no welding and it attaches to the bottom flange which requires to be slightly offset, and the vertical rod is slightly offset from the center of the shape. Then type 28 is the steel beam clamp with an eye nut. So the eye nut is actually located at the center. We can see that as a dark circle at the center. The device which attaches to the bottom flange of the structural shape, where the vertical rod has to be at the center of the structural shape. So here we can use a steel beam clamp with an eye nut where the vertical rod is at the center of the structural shape. Then type 29 is the linked steel clamp with an eye nut. The linked steel clamp also attaches to the bottom flange where the vertical rod is required to be centered on the structural shape. So it is also providing the same function as that of the type 28, but it may support greater loads compared to the type 28. Then type 30 is the malleable beam clamp with an extension piece. So the purpose of this structure is also to attach to the bottom of the flange where the vertical rod is required to be centered to the structural shape. So this is about type 30. Then type 31 is the light welded steel bracket. So this is a cantilever device or a cantilever support that may be intended for supporting a gravity load from rod type hangers. So this device is actually bolted to the wall, and it may be installed with a brace either above or below the horizontal member. Then type 32 is a medium welded steel bracket. So this is a braced cantilever device. It is intended for supporting maximum gravity loads and or horizontal loads up to 6670 Newton, and the load may be applied anywhere along the pipeline, and this device is typically bolted to a wall, and it may be installed with a brace above, below or on either side of the main pipeline. Then type 33 is a heavy welded steel bracket. It is also used for supporting loads up to 13,000 Newton, and the load may be applied anywhere along the pipeline. This device is bolted to a wall, and same as that of the type 32, it can be installed with a brace above, below or on either side of the main pipeline. Then type 34 is the side beam bracket. Side beam bracket attaches to the sides of steel or wooden members, and it provides the means for vertical adjustment. Then type 35 is a pipe slide and a slide plate kind of an arrangement. So it can have a support with horizontal movements, and there is a very low coefficient of friction on the horizontal movement. So this is a kind of sliding plate where very low coefficient of friction is present. So the pipes can easily move along the horizontal direction, and it can be used as a guide rather than a support. Next is a pipe saddle support, type 36. So this is a device with a curved base for cradling the horizontal pipe, and it slips into a nominal diameter pipe stanchion. So it is similar to that of vessel supports, where you install saddles at both ends to support the loads. In the case of very large diameter pipelines, the pipe saddle supports are normally used so that the load is distributed properly. Uh, Next type of support is type 37, the pipe stanchion saddle. So the pipe stanchion saddle is the device with a curved base for cradling horizontal pipes, and it slips into the nominal diameter pipe stanchion. So you have a U-bolt to provide the stability to the stanchion saddle. So this is similar to the stanchion saddle support, but it is also having a U-type bolt to provide additional stability. So that U-type bolt will cover the entire diameter and the pipe will rest on the curved base. So this is the pipe stanchion saddle with the U-bolt arrangement. Then type 38 is the adjustable pipe saddle support. The adjustable pipe saddle support is a device with a curved base, and this is provided for vertical adjustments. So the piped cradle horizontal pipe which is threaded into the nominal diameter pipe stanchion. This device will provide the vertical adjustable support. Then type 39 type 39 is the steel pipe covering the protection saddle. So type 39 So type 39 is the steel pipe covering protective saddle. So this is a device used on insulating piping. It is designed to minimize the heat losses and prevent damage to the insulation. Uh, type 40 Type 40 is a protection shield or a protection saddle. It is a metal device intended to prevent crushing of insulation and or breaching of the vapor barrier. So it typically used at support points where the crushing of insulation can happen. It is a metal device to prevent the crushing of insulation and the breaching of vapor barrier. Then type 41 is a single pipe roll. Single pipe roll is a device used for supporting horizontal piping from two rods, allowing for a vertical adjustment and consisting of a roller that will allow for axial movement with virtually no frictional resistance. So axial movements will be provided in the single pipe roll, but it will restrain the vertical movements. So it is used for supporting horizontal piping from two rods. You can use it for allowing vertical adjustments, but it does not allow for any horizontal adjustments. Next is the type 42 carbon or alloy steel riser clamp. This is a pipe attachment for supporting vertical piping through the use of shear lugs welded to the pipe. The load bolts are provided to transfer the pipe load to the hanger assembly. So type 42 is using the shear lugs. So additionally you have the lug supports which are used as additional welding arrangement. This load bolts will be used to transfer the pipe load to the rod hanger assembly. Next type of support is a type 43. So type 43 is the adjustable roller hanger with or without a swivel. It's a device used for supporting horizontal piping from a single rod, and it allows for vertical adjustment, and it consists of a roller to allow for axial movement with no frictional resistance. This type of adjustable roller hanger will allow for the axial movement without any frictional resistance. Next is type 44 pipe roll complete. So the pipe roll complete is a device used for supporting horizontal piping where vertical adjustment is unnecessary, and it consists of a roller that allows for axial movement without any frictional resistance. Then type 45 is a pipe roll and plate arrangement. So it is a device used to support horizontal piping having minimal axial movement from beneath the pipe. So here also we do not require any vertical adjustments. Then type 46 is adjustable pipe roll and base. This is a device to support horizontal piping having axial movement from the bottom part, that is from beneath the pipeline, and here the vertical adjustments needs to be provided. So For the adjustable pipe roll and base, it is used to support the horizontal piping with a lot of axial movement, and also it requires vertical adjustment. Next, type 47 is a restraint control device. So the restraint control device is a rigid mechanical spring or hydraulic device. It's used for absorbing shock loading, and it is also used to control the sway in the piping systems. Sway is a kind of a pendulum swinging. So you imagine it as a kind of a swinging movement. So swaying is a movement back and forth as the kind of a swing. And if you want to prevent this swinging when during the shock loading in the hydraulic systems, we have to use a restraint control device. So it is a rigid mechanical spring or a hydraulic device that will be used to control the swaying in the pipelines. Then type for 48 is a spring cushion type of an arrangement, where it is a non-calibrated rod type single coil spring support, where a cushioning effect is required. We will use this kind of a spring cushion. So it is not calibrated to expand or contract or compress depending upon the load. It is just a single coil which will provide a cushioning effect when it is required. Then type 50 or type 49. Type 49, it is a double coil rod spring support. So where you have a cushioning effect, it is used along with a pipe roll. So we already discussed the function of a pipe roll, and to provide a cushioning support on either side of a pipe roll, we have to use a spring cushion roll. So this is the type 49. Then type 50 is the spring sway brace. This spring device is used for absorbing shock loading and to control the back and forth movement, that is a swaying in the pipe systems. Then type 51 is a variable spring hanger. The variable spring hanger, it is a device having a single spring coil. It will support the gravity load of the piping systems, and they are which are subjected to vertical thermal movements. This will produce a varying load when the pipe is moving due to the thermal loads. So this is having a single spring which will support the gravity loads. So the spring braces or the variable spring hangers will be used as a variable spring support. Then type 52. Type 52 is a variable spring base support. So it is a device having a single spring coil which will support the gravity loading of the piping, and it is subjected to vertical thermal movements. This device reduces the varying load when the pipe is moving from cold to the hot position. So when the pipe is moving from the cold to hot position, we can expect vertical thermal movements. This variable spring base support will provide to support the gravity load of the piping when it is subjected to vertical thermal movements. Then type 53 is a variable spring trapeze hanger. So this is a device with double spring coils. It will support the gravity load of the piping subjected to vertical thermal movements. This device produces a varying load when the pipe is moving from the cold position to the hot position, and this is type of spring hanger will support the pipe from above the two rods. So this is the kind of variable spring trapeze hanger arrangement where the system will support the adjustments due to vertical thermal movements when the pipe is moving from the cold position to the hot position. Then type 54. Type 54 is a horizontal constant support hanger. So this is the also a kind of fixed support which is used to support the pipeline in the horizontal direction. So it is going to support the pipeline by providing for the gravity load. The type 55 is the vertical constant support hanger. Uh, Vertical constant support hanger is a single spring coil working in conjunction with some counterbalancing mechanisms to support the gravity load, which are subjected to vertical thermal movements. This device will produce a constant load when the piping is moving from the cold position to hot position. And this type of constant hanger has a spring coil in place in the vertical position, and it will support the pipe from above location. Next is the type 56, the constant support hanger, trapeze type. So it's a device having double spring coils with this working in conjunction with the counterbalancing mechanisms to support the gravity load. So this also provides a constant load when the pipe moves from the cold position to hot position. So this type of constant hanger will have a spring coil in the vertical position, and it will support the pipe from below with the help of two rods. Then type 57 is a plate lug. It's a structural attachment which provides us the connecting rod type hanger to structural steel members via a pin type arrangement or a bolt through the hole of the lug. So this types of plate lugs can support only small loads, and it is not suitable for any vertical restraints. Then type 58 is a horizontal traveler. This device will this device permits the structural attachment end of the rod type hangers to accommodate for horizontal piping movements in conditions where we can have offsetting of conventional structural attachments, which are not practical due to limited space constraints. So this is a kind of you can imagine it to be a structural type of a rod hanger. If you do not have enough space to install any other kind of support, but there is some offset in the pipeline, so we have to minimize the offset by installing this horizontal traveler where we have limited space. So this horizontal traveler will prevent the vertical movements, and it will accommodate the horizontal piping movements in conditions where we have the offset. So offset is the slight disorientation of the pipeline from the axis. To prevent that offset, we have to use this horizontal traveler. Next is the type 59, which is the trapeze hanger kind of an arrangement. So this is used in conjunction with the hanging uh, straps. So if we have a base on which the trapeze is installed, that becomes a spring trapeze hanger. But here we do not have a proper base, but instead it is supported by two straps which may be attached to some civil structure. So these trapeze hangers can support pipelines of different diameters, and it is a hanging support which will be attached to a civil structure, and it can support variable diameters of the pipeline. So these are about the various pipe supports which are classified as primary and secondary supports. Primary supports will be directly attaching to the pipeline, and secondary supports will attach to a civil structure, and that civil structure will be used to rest the pipeline. So, and pipelines can also be classified as rigid supports and flexible supports. Rigid supports are not movable, but flexible supports will allow for certain movement of the pipeline. And next is about the various functional classification, whether it is a guide or a loose support or and so on. And the restraints can be provided in any particular direction, and It can allow for the movement of the pipeline in one particular direction. So this is about the various pipe supports and their classification, and also the different types of pipe supports that are normally used in any oil and gas process industry are discussed in detail along with their sketches.